I get a random link from a friend. I thought it was a prank. But when I clicked it, my webcam turned on by itself, and I was pulled into a dark web video call with masked strangers. At first, they just watched me. Then they showed me live footage of people tied up, and one of the cameras was pointing at my front door. It all started on a boring Thursday night. I was home alone, the lights dim, and the only thing breaking the silence was the low hum of my laptop fan. My friend Jake had sent me a link on Discord, followed by a laughing emoji and a message. "Bro, you've got to see this, it's insane." At first I ignored it. Jake was always pulling dumb internet pranks, jump scares, screamers, fake horror sites, but something about this link felt different. It had no preview, no description, just a strange combination of letters and numbers that didn't look like a regular URL. Curiosity got the best of me. I hovered over it for a few seconds, hesitating, my mouse trembling slightly from the caffeine-fueled energy drink I'd been sipping all night. Against my better judgment, I clicked it. The screen went black for a moment. No buffering, no loading time, just instant darkness. Then a message appeared in plain white text. Connecting to private. Session. That's when I noticed something was off. My webcam light blinked on. I hadn't granted any permission. No pop-up asking if the site could use my camera. It just turned on by itself. My face appeared in a small square at the bottom corner of the screen. I leaned in, confused. I tried closing the tab, but the mouse wouldn't move. The browser was frozen, as if the page had hijacked control. Suddenly, soft static filled my headphones. Then, one by one, 7 more squares popped up around mine. Blurry, low-resolution video feeds. Each showed a person, but their faces were hidden behind crude, unsettling masks. Plain white masks, featureless except for 2 black eye holes. None of them spoke. They just stared. Still, silent. Waiting. My heart began to pound. I said, "Hello?" Barely above a whisper. No response. Then a low beep echoed in my headphones and a new line of text appeared at the top of the screen. Participant number 8 connected. That was me. My breathing got faster. I felt the temperature in the room drop, or maybe it was just the cold sweat running down my back. I could see my own frightened face reflecting back at me on the screen, wide-eyed and pale. Then one of the masked figures slowly raised a finger to its lips. The shh gesture. No sound, just that slow, deliberate movement. And then the chat window opened. A single message was typed out, 1 letter at a time. "You shouldn't have joined." The air felt thicker the moment the message appeared. "You shouldn't have joined." My chest tightened as the other video feeds sharpened slightly, their grainy blurs shifting into clearer, more unsettling views. 7 masked figures sat in complete silence. Their masks weren't uniform anymore. Some were cracked porcelain, others were leather, stitched crudely like something out of a nightmare. One wore a sack with a single eye hole, and another had a painted smile smeared across a pale rubber surface. Each mask was different, but all had one thing in common. They never moved. Not even a twitch, except for their eyes. Behind the dark holes, I could feel the weight of their stares. The longer I stayed, the more it felt like they were studying me, analyzing, memorizing. The screen flickered again, and a deep, distorted voice came through the speakers. It wasn't speaking a language I recognized, just guttural sounds glitching, tones and fragments of broken speech, like a corrupted audio file trying to force words into something human. Suddenly, one of the squares shifted. It wasn't just a person anymore, it was a room. A cold concrete basement. Fluorescent lights flickered above, casting long, slow-moving shadows. In the middle of the frame, a metal chair, empty but stained. The camera panned slightly on its own, revealing tools hung on the wall, rusted, worn, with dark smears along their edges. Another square changed. This time it showed a hallway, narrow, dimly lit, and at the end of it, something moved. A figure, blurry and tall, crawling on all fours, limbs jerking unnaturally like it had forgotten how a body should work. Its face was hidden, but I could see long strands of black hair hanging down as it crept closer to the lens. I wanted to scream, but my throat was dry. My body frozen, I pressed the power button, held it down. Nothing. The laptop refused to turn off. It was like I was trapped in the call, trapped in that digital room with 7 silent watchers who weren't just watching, they were waiting. And I was the only one with my face fully visible. No mask, no anonymity. My name was in the corner of my screen. Full name. Somehow it had been pulled from my account, my system, something. It hadn't asked. It just knew. The chat pinged again. New message appeared. Do not speak unless spoken to. The masked figure in the middle square began nodding, slowly, deliberately. Then another, and another, until all 7 were nodding in eerie unison, like some sort of ritual had begun. Then, as if responding to an unseen cue, their cameras shifted, too. One by one, they turned, showing different rooms, all dim, all dirty, and all eerily silent. Except now, each room had a person in it. At first, I couldn't fully register what I was seeing. Each of the masked participants had turned their cameras to reveal different rooms, abandoned basements, storage units, cold garages. In each frame sat a person, not another participant. These were victims, real people. Some were tied to chairs with duct tape around their wrists and ankles. Others had hoods over their heads, breathing heavily, panicked, trembling. I could hear faint whimpering now, as if the audio was only just catching up with what my eyes refused to believe. One of them, a young woman, had her head bowed, long hair hanging forward, shoulders shaking. Another was an older man, blood-smeared, down the side of his face. A third was a child, small, motionless. I couldn't tell if they were unconscious, or worse. I sat frozen in my chair, staring into the screen as the horror unfolded, square by square. The chat beeped again, and a new message appeared, typed slowly like each key press was being deliberately dragged out. Show us yours. My eyes darted around the room. My hands hovered over the keyboard. I typed back, what do you mean? Another message. Your turn. Participant number 8. Show your guest. I replied again, hands trembling so badly I hit the wrong keys the first time. I don't have anyone here. I'm alone. The screen flickered. My face appeared larger now, taking up more of the center. The others pulled back slightly, like they were giving me a stage. 7 silent, faceless viewers, watching me, judging, waiting. Then something happened that made my blood run cold. Participant number 3 leaned forward. It was the first time any of them had moved since the call began. They held up a piece of cardboard with writing scrawled in red ink. 4 words, lying has a price. My camera zoomed in slightly, automatically. I didn't touch anything. It was like they were trying to see more of my room, my background, every corner and shadow. I quickly turned off my lights, hoping to blur the view, but the night vision on their end seemed stronger. One by one, they typed again. You've seen ours, now show yours. We need balance. My throat tightened as I whispered, I'm not part of this. But they didn't care. One of the victims in the other. Squares screamed suddenly. It was muffled, distant, like it had been traveling through layers of static, but it was real. The figure in front of them stepped forward, holding something sharp and metallic, glinting briefly in the dim light. Participant number 5 typed, choose or we choose for you. Another message followed instantly after, appearing almost like it had been queued. Last chance, open your door. The camera feed shifted again, only this time it wasn't another basement. It was a live feed from outside my house. The feed showed my street, but it wasn't a pre-recorded clip. It was live. I recognized the flickering street lamp across the road, the overgrown hedges my landlord never trimmed, even the cracked sidewalk where I'd tripped last winter. The east camera was shaky, handheld, and the angle suggested it was being recorded from someone standing just a few feet away from my front door. I sat paralyzed, staring at the screen. My mind raced, trying to rationalize it, deny it, explain it. But there was no denying what I was seeing. Someone was outside. Right now, watching, streaming. The view panned slowly, left to right, capturing every detail of my porch, my car in the driveway, the faint glow of my bedroom window. The curtains were closed, but I knew behind them, I was sitting there completely exposed. Whoever was holding that camera, they knew exactly where I was. The masked participants in the video call began tilting their heads in unison, like they were listening to something I couldn't hear. A low static hum vibrated through my headphones. I yanked them off, but the hum continued, now coming from the laptop itself. My speakers buzzed, then the voice returned. Not words this time, just breathing. Labored, slow, deep. I got up and crept to the window, lifting one edge of the curtain with trembling fingers. My eyes scanned the darkness. Nothing. No movement. But the stream on my laptop didn't lie. Someone was out there, closer than I could see, maybe hidden, maybe watching me from a blind spot. My phone was dead. No signal, no bars, even the Wi-Fi had vanished from the corner of my screen. My router lights blinked erratically, like they were being jammed or hijacked. I tried unplugging it, but the stream didn't stop. It just kept playing, showing the camera slowly inching toward my door. Back on the call, the chat lit up again. Answer it. I hadn't heard a knock. Then it came. 3 slow, deliberate knocks on my front door. Not loud, not urgent, calm, measured. As if the person outside had all the time in the world. I backed away, heart pounding so hard it felt like it might break my ribs. The knocks came again, louder this time, then a pause. A long, suffocating silence. The stream on my screen cut to static for a second, then returned now from a new angle. Closer. They were on the porch now. The doorknob was visible in the bottom corner of the frame. I could see my welcome mat. The camera tilted down briefly, showing a pair of boots soaked in something dark and sticky. The chat box blinked with a new message. We're already inside. Spun around, scanning the room. Nothing. No movement. But the air felt wrong. Heavy, like something had shifted. The webcam light was still on. The screen now showed my own living room. Not from my camera, but from a different angle. One I couldn't explain. I slammed the laptop shut, but the light from the webcam didn't turn off. It glowed defiantly in the darkness like a single watching eye. The power button didn't respond. I yanked the cord out of the wall, grabbed the battery, and ripped it from the bottom. The screen went black. Finally, silence. I stood there in the middle of the room, chest heaving, waiting for the tension to fade. It didn't. It only shifted, settling into a cold dread that clung to my skin like frost. I double-checked. Every lock in the house. Front door, back door, windows, closet. Nothing seemed tampered with. But that feed, what I saw was real. Someone had been outside. Someone had my camera, my house, my name. I turned off all the lights and sat on the floor in the corner of my room. My phone pressed to my chest, begging it to catch a signal, but it just blinked no service over and over. Eventually, exhausted, I fell asleep with one eye open and every light off. The next morning, I convinced myself it had been a dream. A hack, a trick, a horrible, elaborate prank. I didn't open the laptop again. I shoved it in a drawer, buried under clothes and books. I even thought about throwing it out completely, but a part of me was afraid to touch it again. Afraid of waking something back up. I got a new phone, changed passwords, set up a VPN. Life for a little while went back to normal, or at least a fragile imitation of it. But then 3 nights later, I heard it again. A soft click in the middle of the night. The same click that used to come from my webcam when it activated. I sat up in bed, heart hammering in my chest, and stared at the laptop drawer across the room. It was closed. I hadn't touched it. I hadn't powered it up. But the light, the faint green glow was visible through the crack between the drawer and the frame. It was on. I approached it slowly, carefully, as if the laptop itself might lash out at me. I slid the drawer open, and there it was, screen black, webcam light. On, nothing else. No fan noise, no signs of life. Just that eerie glow blinking occasionally like it was breathing. I unplugged it again, taped over the lens, put it in a box, locked it in the garage, under everything heavy I could find. But that night when I lay back in bed, the click came again. Not from the garage, from right next to me. I turned my head slowly, eyes adjusting to the dark. My new phone was lit up, camera active, recording. I tried to shut it down, but it fought me, the screen flickering violently, refusing to turn off. And then, just for a second, I saw a reflection. In the blackness of the screen, something standing behind me.